Welcome back to The Last Word. This is a great, exciting episode because we are going to discuss our 2024 NFL predictions, who's going to win the MVP, who's going to win the division titles, and most of all, the most important prize of it all, who's going to win this Super Bowl. Now, we understand that this guy over here, Kyron, likes to always fantasize about Daniel Jones and the New York Giants, so you might hear them coming out in these predictions, So he called somebody's list a Mickey Mouse list in the prior show, but let's hear who has the Mickey Mouse list when it comes to these predictions. So let's get right into it. Karen, we have, do you want to say any opening comments before we get started?
I'm hoping that a little bed rest, a beverage or two has sobered some of your thoughts and your opinions, and hopefully you've got your mind right and are able to hopefully give the people a little something not so off the mark today. So hopefully.
Well, let's get right into it. So we want to find out, who do you think, after all the hype of the NFL season, who do you think is going to come out ahead of these divisions? Let's start with the AFC East. We got the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins, you got the New England Patriots, and last but not least, the New York Jets. I'm going to choose coming out of the AFC East because Buffalo, they lost a lot of offense with Diggs, but I'm still going to hang on because he is Jim Kelly Jr. I'm still going to say the Buffalo Bills are going to do what they do best in the regular season. Regular season.
You better.
And the Bills are going to take the AFC East. Who do you got for the AFC East?
Don't get me started today with that. I knew you had to go with the Buffalo Bills, right? The potential MVP. I can't see how the MVP is not going to win the division.
We're not going to waste so much time on this.
I digress.
It's my pick, the AFC East, Buffalo Bills, for obvious reasons.
Just going to document that to make sure that,
Just remember, you're going to be talking a lot about Josh Allen throughout the season, so get all the haterade out of your system right now, okay?
I just have a feeling of regression coming for the Bills this year.
That's cool.
And with that being said, I have, coming out of the AFC East, I have the Miami Dolphins winning that division. It was between them and the Jets. The Jets, again, are banking on a 40-year-old quarterback to stay healthy throughout the season. I'm just not sure that's gonna happen for Aaron Rodgers this year. So with that being said, I'm gonna go with the Miami Dolphins. And yes, they have some questions on their defense, but that offense is potent. And I think, again, regular season football, warm weather for the majority, I got the Dolphins coming out of the East.
Dolphins coming out of the East. Just check the record.
Winning the East.
Just check the record on Tua when it's cold weather. I believe it's something like 6-16.
Right.
So hey,
it's not cold anywhere in September.
We'll see about that.
October.
AFC East, you got the Miami Dolphins. Please put it down in the book of accountability.
I got it.
And I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. No one wants to mention Aaron Rodgers because, of course, he's coming off the injury, and you just don't know what you're going to get with Aaron Rodgers. The funny thing is, off topic, Brett Favre won a Super Bowl in Green Bay. Then he went to New York.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl in Green Bay, and he's following the same footsteps as Brett Favre, and he's on his way to New York Jets.
Are you predicting that his next stop will be Minnesota too, following the Brett Favre?
We're going to see what happens. But Aaron Rodgers, special considerations for the AFC East title.
All right.
Let's go on to the AFC North. We got the Baltimore Ravens, powerhouse. Cincinnati Bengals, everyone knows that they're always going to be contending. Cleveland Browns, sleepers. And nobody's expecting much from these Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson, and Justin Fields. I am going to go out on a limb and say that Lamar Jackson is going to walk away with easily the division.
That's a limb?
Yeah,
that's a limb. One of the best franchise organizations.
Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens are taking the AFC North. Joe Burrow's gonna say, you know what? I didn't have Jamar Chase to start the season, and it took us a while to get clicking. That's why our record is the way it is. But no, the reason why you're not going to win the division is because Derrick Henry in the backfield with Lamar Jackson are going to show you why this Baltimore Ravens team is destined to make, well, we're not going to go there right now. We're just going to talk about division titles. And I'm going to call Baltimore Ravens AFC North. Your pick.
Okay. Well, I'm going to actually go out on a limb here. And because I'm just feeling so strong about the year that Burrow's going to have, I have the Cincinnati Bengals winning the toughest division in football, that AFC North, slightly edging out the Baltimore Ravens. So,
for some reason,
I wouldn't put money on it, no, but I just have this feeling that Burrow is just he's gonna come through this year and have a year that just reminds people that yes, he is no doubt the second best quarterback in this league, and potentially the one quarterback that can outduel Patrick Mahomes.
For some reason, I don't know what is about this Cincinnati Bengals and you. For some reason, you're just elevating them up on this pedestal that if you had the chance to say MVP Burrow,
it's still early.
Super Bowl,
it's still early.
Bengals,
it's
like
still
division
early.
Bengals. Like, what is it?
Are you looking at my paper?
No.
Are you looking at my MVP?
Your paper's your paper. You know, we got two different angles. You got the Bengals for the AFC North. I got the Baltimore Ravens AFC North. Okay, let's move on to the AFC South. We got the Houston Texans, CJ Stroud. Indianapolis Colts, of course, Richardson coming out, rookie season, even though he got hurt in two games last year. Got the Jacksonville Jaguars with the Golden Boy.
Who?
Well, we're not going to go there.
You better slow that down.
And we got the Tennessee Titans. Okay, I'm going to make this easy for everyone. I'm going to just say CJ Stroud is just going to continue to dominate the AFC South.
No concerns about the strength of schedule that they're going up against this year. I believe it's the fourth toughest schedule in the league. Is there any fear that maybe they fall back a little bit, or not necessarily win division, but maybe be one of those bottom end playoff
It's
teams?
funny that you brought that up because I was looking at the schedule and I was saying to myself, maybe that they might not be able to hurdle this storm. However, if they are not able to do it, I'm gonna if we were going to call second, who would the second pick be? I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars to actually win the AFC South, but I'm still going to go with CJ because look at the division. You know, Jonathan Taylor, Richardson. I mean, they can make some noise. I mean, but
there's a lot of hype around Richardson. A lot of hype around Richardson and that Colts team, and the belief that there's going to be a leap forward for that team, and a lot of whispers about. That's going to be the this year's Texans, the Colts. I don't see it. It's going to be an interesting team to watch, a fun team potentially. I just don't think this is the year where we see that coming from the Colts. Jaguars, again, I don't know, man. I just see them hovering around, sniffing around a 500 team. And I just think Stroud is that real deal. He is that high-end quarterback, and yes, the schedule is tough, and yes, teams have more film on him, and yes, this is second year, but I just think he's legit, man.
He's legit.
I think he's legit. I think what Coach Ryan's doing over there is just he's got that team moving in the right way. They've added that legit number one running back in Mixon, and also adding that explosive option in Diggs, who I think still has a couple years left in those legs. I think Houston's going to be a problem.
Well, remember what CJ Stroud said? Who's your number one receiver? He said, I got 5 on it. I got me my 5 receivers, so let's see what happens when it comes to production on the field.
Let's see if he can keep 5 receivers happy.
Let's see if he can do that. AFC West, let's see. I got the Denver Broncos. We got the Kansas City Chiefs. We got Vegas, and we got the Chargers. Everybody's asking, does Justin Herbert break out this year with Harbaugh coming in to lead the charge at the helm as the coach? Does Vegas have what it takes? Obviously, we're going to scratch them out. Yep. And the Broncos have what it takes. I mean, they're going with a rookie quarterback, so we're going to scratch them out as well. So the 2 question marks is Herbert or Mahomes. Now,
hold on. Mahomes is a question?
Well, we're just saying between the two.
I think the only question is who finishes second in the division.
Okay, like you just give me a chance to just give my
No,
little soliloquy.
Mister, I don't have Patrick Mahomes in the top three
I was trying to
quarterbacks in
pretty
the
this
league.
up for you, but okay. So we're just gonna leave it like this. I'm not gonna go
Maybe
even
KC
waste
doesn't win it.
any time. AFC West belongs to
the
one
Chargers.
team. No, you believe in the Chargers. I'm gonna believe in Mahomes. Mahomes, my homie, Patrick Mahomes, AFC West. I'm only assuming that you're gonna piggyback off that and just say Mahomes.
Piggyback. I'm coming from the guy who has Patrick Mahomes as the third, fourth best quarterback in this league. Yes, KC's gonna win this division. I'm assuming the Chargers will finish second with Harbaugh. You'll see them step up, but they won't. They won't win this division. KC is primed to win it again. Mahomes gonna be in that mix for the MVP. KC, let's keep it moving, man.
KC, AFC West, obviously. So let's move on to the NFC. We got our predictions. You got the AFC East prediction. You got the North, South, and West. We're moving on to the NFC. Okay, NFC, a lot of question marks, especially in the East Division. We got the Cowboys. We got your team,
The New York
Giants.
Football Giants.
I don't know about that. New York Giants. We got
Maybe
Philadelphia
flag
Eagles.
football.
And last but not least, we got Jaden Daniels leading the Washington Commanders. I'm not going to take too much time, but I'm going to say this. I do believe in a regular season Cowboys, right? And I think they've done enough over the last 3 or 4 years. Their body of work has shown that they can produce in the regular season. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. Special considerations to the Eagles. I think that the Eagles are going to have a strong season, but I just think that it's going to take a little while to come out the gate. NFC East, what's your pick?
I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think they're just stacked. Yes, there's some questions on their offensive line, losing Kelsey, him retiring. So there's going to be a little, I guess, time, like you said, coming out of the gate maybe to gel and get that unit together. But everywhere else on that football field, they're strong. Saquon Barkley addition. Oh, my gosh. I don't know how the Giants let that happen. The two wide receivers, Smith and Brown. You got tight end Gohart. Also, we keep forgetting to mention that Jalen Hurts had a heck of a year, 2022, I believe.
You're Mr. What have you done for me lately? So I'm surprised to hear you say that.
Listen,
but go on.
There's a difference between talking about a guy as being one of the upper echelon quarterbacks in the league as opposed to a guy who's around a 10th in that argument for the 10th best quarterback in the league, right? He's definitely a guy you can win a Super Bowl with at quarterback. And I think Philadelphia, a lot of people are overlooking them. I think their team is stacked. And yeah, I think they're gonna take that NFC East.
Okay. So you got the Philadelphia Eagles, I got the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah. NFC East. Let's move on to NFC North. This division, of course, division is probably the most, I guess, competitive out there, if you ask me.
In what, the NFC?
In the NFC. In the NFC, I think so. Because right now you got the Bears. The Bears. You got the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams leading the charge. He got some great weapons. The team is stacked. And I think the predictions are they're going to come out on top. Some
of the North
analysts have put the Bears up there as winning the North. Mm-hmm. So we also got the Detroit Lions. Strong finish last year. We got Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. And Minnesota, who's lost their quarterback, Vikings. Now, we're not going to really believe in Sam Darnold to lead Vikings into winning the NFC North. So I'm going to go with, even though the Lions and Dan Campbell, the defensive juggernauts that they've proven themselves to be, there's just something about that kid Jordan Love that just, I don't know, it's just strike a spark in me that I'm going to say on a limb that Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers, they're going to come out on top of this NFC North. I don't know why, but he just seems so calm in that pocket. And I think the years behind Aaron Rodgers has just helped him develop so fast. At least, he's not fast because he spent a couple of years behind Aaron. But he jumped onto the field. He's proven himself. He has a playoff victory. I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. I don't know why, but Jordan Love is just that special kid. And I think that he doesn't buckle under the pressure. He shows you that he can play ball under pressure. So let's give the kid a chance, and I'm going to take him in the NFC North.
Hey, you know what? Green Bay, not big pushback on that. Again, their offense, it's a young offense, but again, that wide receiver group, very talented. Love, again, to me, this year will probably foreshadow whether we'll tell you, are we talking about now another guy who's going to be in that conversation for top 5 quarterback around that in that discussion for the. However, I'm going with the Detroit Lions, man. I think the hunger is there this year. They had an opportunity to make it to the Super Bowl, man. They were close. I think Dan Campbell's got to tweak maybe a little bit of how he approaches finishing games and how he approaches the fourth down situations. I think Jared Goff is who Jared Goff is. He's a quarterback that you can win with. The weapons, they got great running backs. They have one of the best offensive lines in the game. They went out, they've drafted and took care of their defensive back issues that they had, giving up a lot of big explosive plays last year. I think with that being resolved, I think Detroit is gonna probably end up with the best record in the NFC.
I can't hate on that. And I can't hate on that.
14 of their games this year are going to be in domes.
Okay.
That plays right into the hands of Goff and into that offense.
All right. So you got the Lions, I got the Packers. Really, it's a coin toss, but we'll see what happens on the field and throughout the duration of the season. Moving on to the NFC South. Now, the NFC South is really a toys division. We got the Falcons, Panthers, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. By default, I'm going to give it to the Buccaneers because there is really no one else contending for the. Oh, well, Kirk Cousins.
Matt Cousins.
Has just landed in Atlanta. So possibly they might win the division, but Tampa Bay seems to have had the group together for a while now. Baker Mayfield signed that big contract. He's got the monkey off his back, finally settled in with the team. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers finish on top of the NFC South.
You got the Bucks. All right. Well, I got Atlanta. I think Kirk Cousins again, like Dak Prescott. These guys are guys in the regular season that can get it done. I think he's going to get the best out of Pitts. We're going to finally see Pitts show up. I think Bijan Robinson, a heck of a running back. Again, explosive plays. They got Drake London out there also. I think a lot of these guys are going to just be happy to have a competent quarterback who can get them the ball. Again, another offensive line that is very good, a top-end offensive line. And, and this division is a weak division. The fact that Tampa Bay won it.
Going with?
I got Atlanta winning it. I got Atlanta.
You got the Falcons?
Yeah, I got them edging out Tampa Bay.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, I think New Orleans and Carolina
that's actually going to be
pretty much.
If they happen to win this division, Atlanta, Kirk Cousins has definitely shown himself to be maybe a Hall of Famer.
Stop.
Making the most money, going from team to team to team, just shining and diamond, man. Kirk Cousins, if you happen to pull off winning the NFC South.
He's had a hell of a career.
He's had a hell of a career,
at
man.
Least financially.
Financially, to me. And he's shown some, Justin Jefferson is who he is because of Kurt. Come on, let's not just put him under the carpet like that. Come on. Kurt, kudos to you. And, I'm rooting for you. Hopefully you come out on top of the NFC South. Now let's end this off with the NFC West. We got the Cardinals, the Rams, 49ers, and the Seahawks. This is a tough division as well. The Rams have been, I guess, people are calling the Rams to even win the Super Bowl this year.
Well, I think it's a fair statement because in reality, do they not have the best quarterback in the NFC?
You know what? That's a big statement, but it's also a true statement.
It is, right? As long as he's healthy,
He's arguably the best quarterback in the
I
NFC.
think he is the best
You know,
quarterback.
I can't even argue with that.
So
you
with
know,
that in place,
when you have the
anything
best
is possible
quarterback,
for them,
anything's
right? No?
possible. So with that being said, you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. I'm going to call the Los Angeles Rams as the NFC West division
West?
champions.
Okay.
You know, they don't have that hard of a schedule like San Francisco has, and Trent Williams hasn't signed yet.
Oh, they've been working on a deal, and you know
It's gonna happen,
work
but
out.
it's
He's
still,
too important of a
it
piece.
still hasn't happened. So
left
let's
tackle
just see.
has
Let's
to
just see. So I got
high-end
I got
priority.
the Rams going on for the West. What
Yeah.
you got?
Whew, I was leaning to the Rams for a little bit, thinking that San Francisco kind of I don't know if it's their time. I think San Francisco got one last push. This is the last year I think for San Francisco in this core to give a real final push.
You know,
Again,
the
their
funny thing
defense
is-
is there. Their offensive line, once Trent is there, is intact, because when he plays, that unit is a whole different monster.
If you want to put up money on certain things to take place during the San Francisco 49ers
Oh, boy.
season,
Oh no.
Deebo Samuel might get hurt.
Oh,
Christian McCaffrey might get hurt.
likely to.
You know, and with those two backs going down, I don't know how much more promising San Fran looks going into the play. I mean, yeah, I think, you know what, honestly, I think there's a small window.
I think
To
this
win
is
in the
this is
NFL.
end. This is the
Right?
This is it for them.
I think them going to the Super Bowl, that was their window. I think Philadelphia going to the Super Bowl, that was the window. Lamar Jackson yet has got to go to the Super Bowl. He still hasn't reached that potential yet. I just think that Philadelphia, what was the Super Bowl? 37-34, something like that? Or 34-30 or something like that?
You have to double check that one.
I have to double check that. But Jalen Hurts, imagine if he had won that Super Bowl, like his career would have been cemented right there. I think because if you get to that dance and you don't capitalize when you get that chance, it's hard for me to think that you're going to get an opportunity again to do it, because there's so many other teams that are so hungry. And Patrick Mahomes is just so ahead of everyone else in the game that he's the number one person to beat. But I don't know. I just think the Eagles, your time has come and gone. San Fran, your time has come and gone. I personally believe that the road to the Super Bowl is in the East. And, you know, like, your big boys that are supposed to be coming out, and this is going to lead into our next segment, who are our MVPs and who are our Super Bowl predictions. So before I finish talking, let's actually bring on the next segment. Who are your MVPs moving into the season? Okay, I'm just going to go and say my MVP. This year, we're going to get a performance. I don't know how we're going to get this performance from him, but
I think the people know already who your MVP is. No,
it's not Josh Allen.
How is it not?
It's not.
How is it not Bargain Harold's?
Okay.
Bargain Basket Jim Kelly.
So put it this way.
Is it?
Okay, Josh Allen had the most fantasy points last year, right?
Don't
That
try
means-
to backdoor slide to fantasy
He had
talk
the
here.
most fantasy points last year, but he still wasn't the best player on the field. Lamar Jackson was, right? Combined numbers, throwing it in the air, also running and commanding his team to a great record into the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, MVP. Now, if you ask me who's going to win the MVP this year, Josh Allen. Jim Kelly Award is going to Josh Allen. I said it. Josh Allen. Yeah, I talked around it,
Yeah,
but I'm
song
going to
and dance,
give him
tippy
his
toe,
props.
give
Most
stole,
points,
trump.
loses as number one receiver, yet he's going to propel the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs, and it's just a regular season award. Remember, he led the league, tied amongst quarterbacks, rushing touchdowns. If he can stay up above the 4,000 passing yards and maybe about 30-plus touchdowns, MVP. My MVP for 2024, Josh Allen. Floor is yours, sir.
I'm glad at least you stay consistent. You stay consistent in your. I'm gonna try to keep. I know it's a family show. We'll try to keep it correct here in that funny business you got going on. All right, Josh Allen. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have a special eye out for the Bills this year. All right. Oh,
Let's hear who your pick is, please, sir.
Hey,
People are waiting. The
I'm
camera's
gonna
rolling.
say it.
Time is ticking.
I'm trying to brace you first because you might fall off your chair when I say this.
Oh boy, this should be interesting. Let me give you a close up because this should, we want to know
Bring him in. Bring him in.
Kyron Ross, who is your 2024?
Well, if you've been listening to what I've been saying today, and the belief that I have in the Detroit Lions, and the fact that I believe that they're gonna have the best record in the NFC, I am taking Jared Goff to win the MVP this year. I think that team is hungry. I think again their schedule 14 dome games lines up for Jared Goff. That offensive line is again, if not the best, one of the best in the league. I think that his options, Laporte's back healthy. You got the wide receivers. You got Gibbs in the backfield, and I think the Lions are just gonna have that type of season where, hey, you're going to look at their record and say, hey, you have to give Goff his due. And I think he'll have enough stats to make that argument for him to be the MVP.
Ladies and gentlemen, he has not failed to surprise us yet again. Kyron Ross goes way beyond left field and picks Jared Goff, the former number one overall pick. I think is it 2-3 teams he's been on so far?
Two teams.
2 teams, okay. Jared Goff, we are looking for you to, well, let's just leave it at his pick. Jared Goff, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here, last word. And that's definitely not a last word. That's like a first word. But absurd word, but that's his word.
All right.
Let's move on to our picks for the Super Bowl. Now, this is going to be a real great battle for this title because the Kansas City Chiefs have the opportunity to do something that's never been done in history. They can three-peat. A team has never three-peated before, and if anyone's going to three-peat, it's going to be that bad dude, Patrick Mahomes. So if that happens, history will be made. And
now we got respect for Patrick.
I always had respect for Pat.
What?
Patty Mahomes.
Third, fourth best quarterback in the league? I'm sorry. I can't drop this.
We were talking about production on the field, and everybody understands that Patrick Mahomes doesn't put up the best or the most passing yards or the most touchdowns, but he gets the job done. And that's what you're alluding to. Yes, he does get the job done, but we're talking about production on the field. Now, we understand that also sometimes Karen does take a few minutes to kind of get the question right, but it's production.
That's why I asked
field.
in advance. Okay, I'm gonna eventually let this go.
Okay.
But we clarified it. Play it back. We clarified it. I asked to make sure.
If you allow me to now give my pick for this year's Super Bowl,
go ahead. I want to hear more disrespect. I think you kind of.
You know what? Last year I went with my heart.
Last year was what? Baltimore.
I went with my heart, Baltimore, and it ended up blowing up in my face. This year, I'm gonna go with what my eye test is saying, what the eye is saying. I'm going to go with what my mind is saying. I can't deny it. He is the best, and when Michael Jordan was playing, there was no question mark. He was the best, and going into the playoffs, we just said, well, the Bulls are going to win.
Buffalo Bills?
Bulls. I said the Bulls.
I'm just trying to. Is the Buffalo Bills you're picking for Super Bowl?
So this year, Josh Allen's
the best quarterback. So you're talking about the best. So
yeah, I said Josh Allen will win MVP of the season.
Yes.
Karl Malone has won MVP of the season too. Yeah. Just remember that. So I'm going to go with that bad man, and I'm going to take Patrick Mahomes as being the first quarterback in NFL history to three-peat and also challenge Tom TB12 Brady as being the GOAT in NFL history. My pick, the Kansas City Chiefs to three-peat as your 2024 NFL champions. Who are you going to pick?
Wow. All right. So we're having history here, man. We potentially have history by the end of the season. I'm going to go with history. So I don't see the Kansas City Chiefs pulling off that three-peat. This NFL, there's a reason no one's done it.
You're talking in circles now.
It is hard as you know what to accomplish that feat, and we've seen great teams in the history of the NFL not be able to accomplish this. So with that being said, I'm going to continue the ride. And I believe that the Detroit Lions will win the Super Bowl. Yes,
Jared
I said
Goff?
it. The Detroit Lions, the fan base that has had to endure 0-16 seasons, will finally be able to rejoice.
Barry Sanders,
And
are you coming out of retirement? Like
you will
are
see
you
a lot of
serious?
Barry. You will see Megatron. You will see a lot of these faces that
Wow.
endured some of the lowest moments in NFL history. Should have a chance to feel the confetti
I ain't
drop
gonna hate
upon
on
their
you,
heads.
man. If you're gonna choose,
I'm riding with Detroit, man.
Lions,
I think
hey, man,
that
that's
lineup.
a hell of a pick.
And again, to me, I was kind of a toss up between Detroit and Philly. I think Philly's gonna have a good run this year as well. But I just feel that Detroit, that hunger that they have from knowing that they beat themselves,
Well,
they lost the opportunity at a Super Bowl last year, and I think this year they're gonna make sure that doesn't happen again.
Well, that is a very risky pick. I appreciate the pick because, of course, you have yet to not surprise us. You keep on just doing what you do. And Karen, I mean, wow, Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, Super Bowl MVP. You got him as a league MVP, and you got the Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl. Mr. Detroit, Mr. New York, Mr. Cincinnati Bengal, your man, Karen Ross, he makes these picks. And guess what? If you are going to follow these picks, and if these picks actually come through, guess what? You owe this man a big payday because he's going to make you very, very, very rich because he got a lot of underdogs.
I got one for the road, guys. For all my
Don't say it.
people
Don't
like
say
to
it. You're talking about
sprinkle a little money on football. Take the New York Giants to beat the Minnesota Vikings in Week 1. It might be one of their only wins of the season, but take it. They're currently underdogs. Take the New York Giants to beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Get it in somewhere.
Week 1.
You had to get it in somewhere.
Danny Dimes gives people hope again for that small glimpse of why he got $40 million.
That's why he got to have a man like Kai.
They will be back to reality and back to the top of the draft
Ladies and
boards
gentlemen,
next year. But
That's,
hey, I got you.
that's just absurd.
Just a
Ladies
little
and
something.
gentlemen, it's been fantastic, but we got our picks in. We got the division leaders. We got our MVP leaders. And most of all, we got Detroit Lions winning the Super Bowl. It should be interesting. Let's get it. The last word. Yeah.